Good evening, folks. I want to welcome everybody to Creative Financial with JB. We got an interesting topic this week. We're excited. Health is wealth. Y'all have to remember that we're going on that platform because we're going to perform at a higher level. When in business, we perform at a higher level because if we're healthy, if we're doing the things that's right, if we're structuring our lives around that, we have a better way to perform and to be the best. Today we got Miss Diane Calloway. She's the president and founder of The Life is Delicious. We're going to talk about some vegan and vegetarian stuff here and healthy decisions we need to make when we out there eating. Also, we're going to talk about the little event she has coming up on September 20th. I don't want nobody to miss out on that. I am so excited for it. So, y'all know I can talk a lot. So, and the audience know that, Miss Diane, for it. But if y'all can, I'm going to let Miss Diane tell us a little bit of how she came up with this Life is Delicious and a little bit of background about herself. And it's you can go ahead, Miss Diane.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
As Johnnie B said, my name is Diane Calloway, and I'm president and founder of Life is Delicious, which is I call it a community nonprofit dedicated to wellness education. It's wellness education. And I also serve as an adjunct professor at Delaware Tech. And it allows me the opportunity to share my passion about healthy living and personal growth. So when I'm not in a leadership role with exercising programs and things of that nature, I just like to remain active, as well as the gym is my second home. Yeah. So that's just a little bit about me. Just a little.
That's a little bit. And that's a whole lot. So we're going to talk about this, and we always talk about it. We see so many business owners that, trying to excel in their business, Miss Diane, and they're just trying to find a way to stabilize their business. But sometimes that come through our eating habits, our physical routines that we have and everything. And for it, and you developed this Life is Delicious. Tell us, where did that come from? What kind of started that for you?
Well, it started, my mother was the inspiration behind Life is Delicious. Just a little bit of background. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 54 years old. And as a result of that, my mother didn't even know she had cancer because she felt fine. She was not as active as I am, but she wasn't moping around, and you would never have known that she had cancer. She didn't know it herself. And she was drinking Slim Fast at the time. And when she began to share with me some things that she had seen that didn't look normal to her, and I said, well, let's immediately call up your gynecologist, because they were friends anyway. So we went there to her home. And as soon as my mother began to take off her shirt, then the gynecologist said, immediately put it back on, because we're going to be going into surgery tomorrow. You have breast cancer. You know what I mean? And this is what I want the women that are on live right now. Just because you are in menopause or postmenopausal, do not stop taking care of your female organs. Continue to go to your gynecologist, because that's something that my mother stopped doing. She stopped doing that. That's why she didn't know what was going on. So to fast forward, my parents ate at the finest restaurants, cafes. It was mind-boggling to me how this could have happened to her. But it did. And during that time, I, went to every office visit with her and all of that. Not one gynecologist, not one primary care provider, no one ever brought nutrition into the equation. And by me not knowing then what I have a little bit of knowledge of today, I didn't know to ask the questions. They told my mother that she had 3 months to live. My mother lived 18
Mm,
months after that. And not because of anything that I knew at that time, because the whole family was just devastated,
mm,
wondering how this could happen. The nutrition was on point. They drank the finest wine. That my mother was never under any type of stress. The things that you think would create that kind of a diagnosis.
mhm.
But again, fast forwarding, after my mother died, 18 months later, when she was 56,
Wow.
a couple of days before her birthday, I began to be in hot pursuit of trying to figure out, is nutrition and chronic disease, are they connected in any way? I
Mm,
talked to her gynecologist. I flew out to Chicago. I was in hot pursuit. I went right up here to Christiana Care, trying to figure out and let somebody talk me through, how did this happen to my mom? I
mm,
had her medical records, and I just put them out on the desk every place that I went, and asked whomever I was talking to, whatever professional I was talking to, uh, uh, click, connect the dots for me,
right, right.
connect the dots for me.
Mhm,
And I went at a Chicago based hospital, and they said nutrition and disease are absolutely connected in every single way. And
wow.
when I realized that, I, I pulled my families together, because, as African Americans, we love to eat and we can cook, but we
Mhm,
have been cooking the wrong things over the years.
mhm,
And when I realized that, my family, they made some moderate changes, but it wasn't anything,
mhm,
dramatic, that they were, changing in the way they ate, nor the way they cooked. But
mm,
myself, I had younger children at that time. Um, we began to get on this healthy, not roller coaster, but just this healthier pathway, making healthier choices and feeling comfortable with that. My husband came up with the name Life is Delicious.
wow.
When he came up with that, I said, this sounds exactly like what I want to devote my future toward. My life's quest is getting people just to buy into the possibilities of allowing their bodies and
Mm,
their tongue to stop pulling on them, and just pulling them around like a dog on a leash. That's a terrible expression, but having the upper hand of causing them to eat things that are not healthy. And I've been on that path ever since. Life is Delicious was established in 2012. I started a ministry at my
mm,
local church, and we would do classes, and we would bring the education piece forward, and people would come to the classes. We would do cooking demonstrations. They would leave other areas of the church that were doing ministry at the same time and come over to Life is Delicious to eat
mm,
healthy. So Life is Delicious has been out here for a while. In addition to the classes that we did, we provide a comprehensive program, also a 4 to 6 week program. Obviously, we do the nutrition piece, but we include three other prongs. Sometimes we do the water therapy, but definitely we do the nutrition. We do the health reduction strategies. We do deep breathing, and we do mindfulness. We pull all of that together, because it's all a part of becoming healthy. It's not just nutrition. You
mm,
can be, as you can follow the rules,
right.
or do everything that you're supposed to do, and still get sick because you're stressed out. You have it, and everybody deals with stress. But the
Mhm,
key is understanding the way to deal with stress. There is a strategic way to deal with stress. And once you get into the zone of being fearful
mhm,
or being in doubt, those things affect your internal organs. They can have a tremendous impact on whether you're letting disease in or you're keeping disease at bay. So we we've been having a good time with this comprehensive program, and I want people. This is what I want people to do. I want them to truly experience how delicious life can really be if they nourish their mind, their physicalness,
Mm-hmm.
and their emotional aspect, their mind, will, and their emotions. If they can get a handle on those things, they can really enjoy. If they can nourish those things, they can really enjoy life being delicious.
And that's awesome. And, that's so good. Folks know that we're in business, Miss Diane, and it's stressful. Our
Absolutely.
economy, to stay profitable, to stay in business can be a little, overwhelming at times.
Sure.
Sometimes, I'm guilty, and me and Miss Diane shared this. I made a lot of bad decisions in my
We
life,
all have.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell myself, if I'm gonna be profitable, if I'm gonna be productive, I
Mm-hmm.
have to change some stuff in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the first things that I watched was, we was at a business event, and this guy said he wanted to show us this film, Forks Over Knives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what that got to do with business? I'm like, I'm like it just it didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
He looked, and he said, you look disinterested.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't understand what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he started to talk about eating healthy, making some decisions, making
Mm-hmm.
some good decisions. If I want my business to be longevity,
Mm-hmm.
my health depends on that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
um, this be this before everybody started talking about health as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I watched that, and I like it was amazing. And somebody already sent us a couple of questions already, but it was a plant-based diet, and somebody just asked, what is, Miss Diane, what is a plant-based diet? What are we really eating in a plant-based diet, if you can explain?
Sure, sure. That's a good question. A plant-based diet is exactly what it sounds like. Excuse me. You eat your plants, your greens, your carrots, your cabbages. You eat whole foods. That's what it is. You eat whole foods. And also, nuts and seeds can be a combination, can be included in that plant-based diet. Grains, your oats, your quinoa, your those kind of things, those kind of grains, your brown rice,
Mhm.
or your mullet, all of those kind of things are included within a plant-based diet. No processed food, very little, if any, oils. You put oils at bay. We'll talk about that. But a plant based diet is exactly that. It includes all plants, nuts and seeds, which would give you that whole foods combination, and then whole grains. Also, that's important.
And so I know we just had a question to come up on the screen. It says, so what is an alkaline diet? Um,
When you talk about acidity and alkalining, then you have your citrus fruits that can be acidic. They, whether it be lemons, or whether it be oranges, or the fruits that have the acid in them. And then, to keep our bodies alkaline and make sure that it's alkaline, the whole food plant-based way is the way to go. You know
mhm.
what I mean? Because you don't have to be concerned about your body being out of balance with the whole food diet.
Right.
You will always be in the framework of being alkaline when you stay on that pathway of whole foods, and the plant-based way.
And this is another question that came up. How do I start this plant-based diet? I've been, Ms. Diana, I'm guilty of this. We talk about, I've been eating McDonald's salads. I've been eating Wendy's salads. I've been at salad. Now you're transforming me. into something I should have been doing for a long time. I mean, how do somebody start?
First off, I think that when you start a whole food plant-based diet, dig deep and kind of think about why you're doing it. Just be honest with yourself. Why am I doing it? Is it for energy? Is it for I don't want to be on medication? Is it just dig deep and come up and be very realistic. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? What is going to be the outcome, or what am I hoping that will be the outcome? What was the question again? Because I had something else on
So
my
how do
mind
I
to say.
start? I mean, do I just go out there and buy all this?
No, 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 you do not. No, you do not. Once you decide that you want to do it, I tell people to jumpstart it. If you don't stop anything that you're doing now by way of choosing, making food choices,
Mm-hmm.
bring more fruits and vegetables into the matrix of your decision.
Mm,
You can still do your meat thing if that's what you're doing right now.
mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people say, I'm going to stop eating meat cold turkey. You're setting yourself up for failure. Just be
Mm,
realistic and begin to add more whole foods into your daily lifestyle, into your day-to-day regimen. Whether it's whether you eat if you eat one apple a day, then in your next meal or the next day, get two pieces of fruit. It doesn't have to be simultaneous, but just
mm-hmm.
include more of the good. And believe me, once your body begins to change how you feel, it doesn't happen overnight and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to happen. And the
Mm-hmm.
way you do it is just add more whole foods into your everyday regimen, and you will see, and you will see how you feel. And then you will also understand, I don't need that, because when I was eating roast beef, just say for example, then I don't feel as good by doing that as I am by adding more fruits and vegetables and whole seeds and nuts and grains and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's it's nothing difficult to do. Make a decision that I want to get off medication. Make a decision that I would like, just these are just thoughts going through your mind. I want to be more energetic. I'm not as energetic. I'm not feeling my best. I'm not sick. My blood work looks good, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that there has to be more here for me. And pursue it from that perspective. Add more of the good in, and I guarantee you that you will dismiss some of the not so good. I'm not going to call it bad, but the not so good. I have been vegan for years. I do not bash meat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bash eggs. I don't bash ice cream or those kind of things that I used to eat, especially when I'm talking to somebody that's trying to jumpstart it. I'm talking to a client right now that is in a phase of her life where she's overweight, and it kind of just happened within the year. And in addition to that, she's out of breath, and
Mm-hmm.
she wants to do better, but she lives in the South, and they cook and they
Yeah.
eat. They do. So I'm just telling her, one step at a time. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just add one good thing every day into your diet, and go with the flow of that. And believe me, at some point, you are going to begin to feel better. You're going to be more energetic. You're going to look better, and you're just going to thrive in a way that you've never experienced before. And once that happens, you're going to tell yourself, self, I'm letting that go.
Go.
Self, no more of that. You'll talk yourself right into a better place health wise.
Yeah. And we got another question right here on the screen. When should you add fasting into that?
You know, I I'm probably not the person to answer that question. I
Mhm.
haven't fasted in a while. And I used to do it regularly at the front as a result of the church that we went to, because we would have fasting times. I believe that fasting is a good thing. I just like I believe that detoxing is good also. But it depends on the person and what your purpose is. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on the individual and what is your purpose. Is it a spiritual fast? Then go with it. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
fast to for some other purpose, then fact check it. Make sure that whole fasting regimen, you have it with purpose. You
Mm-hmm.
you have some intention, you have some expectation. There's something that you want to get accomplished. Some people fast because they're trying to lose weight. Some people detox because they're trying to lose weight. And I tell people that I deal with that want to lose weight as a result of detoxing or fasting, you will not, Jesus will come back. He will have come back. And if you don't cut off that unhealthy relationship with Jersey Mike's,
Uh-huh.
you can fast until he comes. It ain't
Right.
gonna happen. It ain't gonna
Right.
happen. They
Right.
work in tandem, they work together. So fasting is good, but search yourself and see why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Just examine your motive. Why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not good. It's a good
Yeah.
thing. But check your motives.
Yeah. And Chuck said fasting for body healing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good, and giving your digestive system
Mm-hmm.
some time to relax.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like at some point in time your digestive system said, "I want to slow down. I don't want you just keep throwing stuff through me,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to keep working. I need to rest so I can be the best I can be
Yeah.
for it."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody said, they said, I'm considering eating. I'm considering what should I consider eating for breakfast in a plant-based diet? Is it just nuts and grains? Is it oats? What are some of the um, ideas that you can pass that would be a starter?
Okay. So I can just tell you some personal things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy oatmeal, but I don't enjoy it every single day of the year. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Um, so you can do oatmeal, and to your oatmeal, you can add chia seed and
Mm-hmm.
your fruits, maybe papaya or berries or something of that nature. Something else that I do, since quinoa is 100% protein, I take 1 cup of quinoa. I take about 3 or 4 dates and cut up into that quinoa to give it the sweetness, about a cup of almond milk, because I only do nut milk, and a cup of almond milk, and let that cook. And then maybe about a teaspoon of cacao to give it that color. That's another breakfast cereal. You can do avocado toast.
What's
It's not
cacao?
filling for me.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry to cut you off. What's cacao?
Nothing but powdered chocolate. It's
Oh.
powdered organic chocolate. It's just powdered.
Mm-hmm.
And or cocoa, but that has the sugar in it. Cacao doesn't. So I
Okay.
just do it for the color. It
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily taste like chocolate. To me, that's probably because I have so many different ingredients inside of a bowl of cereal. I don't advocate a lot of our cereals that are on the market today
Mhm.
because you can put your whole foods to work for you and just put in your oatmeal what you like, put in your quinoa bowl what you like, just put the milk and it'll be the consistency of the oatmeal. You can do polenta and polenta with orange juice and put whatever sweetener you want in there, whether it's honey or whether it's agave or whether
Mhm.
whatever kind of sweetener you want. But I try to tell people to enjoy dates because dates have the fiber. We don't get enough fiber. We need more fiber in our diet. First off, it keeps our pipes clean. You
Mm.
know what I mean? We don't have to worry about a whole lot of stomach issues because of that. So it adds the much needed fiber that we need. Cornflakes won't get it. You know what I mean? Or whatever else the other cereals, dry cereals that are out there. You need that fiber in your diet on a daily basis.
Basis. And somebody was asking, where do you get the protein when eating a plant-based diet? Where do I? Because I know everybody said meats are your proteins, and
Yeah. Um, that's a really good question. We are on protein overload. Most of
mm,
us don't really realize how much protein we need because it depends on your level of activity. It depends on age. It
mm,
depends on a lot of other factors, the amount of protein that our body really needs. And believe me, we get, obviously we get our protein from meats.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? And every vegetable known unto man has some percentage of protein in it. That's
mm,
why we need to get accustomed to eating more fruits and vegetables because it has protein in all of it. Every
mm,
single fruit and vegetable has some percentage of protein in it, some greater and some less, but you get protein there. That's why some whole food plant based physicians now are trying to encourage their clients and their patients to get at least 12 to 15 fruits and vegetables a day. And that
wow.
doesn't take a lot. A half of a carrot is adequate. Um, is beta carotene. Just a half of a carrot. You know what I mean? And we could eat a whole carrot. With a meal, we could eat 4 or 5 carrots with a meal. So it's not a whole lot that you have to do, but you have to do some because you need those antioxidants in there. You
Hmm.
you you need all of that in your diet. We've been slacking. And that's why we're not feeling our best because we're
Right.
not putting the right thing in our internal pharmacy to help it do what it would do naturally. Our bodies were created to heal itself.
Hmm.
We've gotten so far away from that we have lost sight of what health and wellness really looks like.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean? We just lost sight of that, but we need to get back to it. And one way you can get back to it is with some of our classes, with our Life is Delicious classes, those 4 to 6 week comprehensive classes. And then you can look any place. It's on the TV. You can't believe everything that's on there, but once you get just a little bit of education, you don't have to go and get your PhD. You know what I mean? But just
Mhm.
listen. There, like you said, Forks Over Knives. That's a reputable video. Um, Eating to Live or Eating Me Alive, or there's so many. We purchased the licensure for a documentary. Hmm, I forgot even what it is. And we've been going all around to all these local libraries, and people have really been coming out. What's the name of that? Okay, I'll remember before we hang
Yeah.
up. But yeah, I am willing to show that at any place, any point in time for free because I
Mhm.
have the license to be able to do it,
Mhm.
and you will thoroughly enjoy that. I'll think of it before we hang up. But
And folks, I want to pass on some numbers from Miss Diane, and let y'all know, reach out to her. I mean, she's here to provide these resources for you. And you see her number going across is 302-834-3695 is the office number. Give her a call. Let her know, hey, I didn't watch the show. I got some questions. I don't want to ask them on the show because I'm a little embarrassed. And we all get there, folks.
sure.
It's okay. It's okay or you can go to www.lifeisdelicious.life. Go on the website, check it out, or go to
Hmm.
www.delawarevegfest.com.
Hmm.
For these are places we can find out what's really going on, how our bodies, because our bodies are changing. We see a lot of
Hmm.
cancer happen out there. We see a lot of illness. I think I'm seeing more walkers and canes than I done ever saw in my
Mm.
life. We see a lot of people passing away, and some of this is based on our lifestyle. For it. And somebody asked the next questions: how can you eat a plant-based diet on a budget? For it, and folks, can I be honest with you? We spend money on what we want.
Thank you.
And sometimes we don't have it, and that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not in the same space to be able to buy this like weekly and go to Sprouts and Whole
Mm-hmm.
Foods and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But
Mm-hmm.
we have to eat within reason and make
Mm-hmm.
some good choices here. How do, and Miss Diane, you can probably expand on that. If somebody's on a budget,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really trying to do this, I mean, what do you recommend?
I recommend staying connected to your local grocery store, wherever that is, because everything at some point in time goes on sale. You
Mhm,
should consider buying in bulk. Over here to Newark Natural Foods, you can buy in bulk, whether it's teas or whether it's rices. So I recommend buying in bulk, not necessarily buying the most extravagantly priced stuff. If you and if you call my office, I can tell you exactly where to go.
mhm,
Because I have a friend, and she will take you as a new customer just because of my recommendation.
mhm,
She sells every single thing that you would need to start on a budget at a budget price. At a
mm,
budget price, whether it's farro, which is a grain, whether it's
mhm,
quinoa, no matter what it is, when she gets it in, she deals with the inner city just like I do. She has a heart to be a blessing to those populations that are at risk, those populations that unfortunately are not able, like you said, to buy from Wegmans and from Whole Foods, from Trader
mhm,
Joe's. Those places are fine, but they're not the only places that have healthy foods. You know what I
mhm,
mean? A lot of people, not this person, but use as an excuse, eating healthy is too costly. So I'm going to continue to stay in the vein that I am. It all
mm,
depends what you buy. You do not have to go out and spend a whole lot of money buying a whole lot of whatever and not
mhm,
really knowing how to make it work for you where you are at the moment. You know what I
mhm,
mean? But if you
mhm,
if you consider buying in bulk, and bulk doesn't mean you have to buy it 5 pounds. You can
mhm,
buy half of a pound of organic rice. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? Um, and keep your eye on the supermarkets. Supermarkets that sell clean things, all of them are trying to do that now. You know
mhm,
what I mean? And
mhm,
just keep your eye open. And everything goes on sale at some time or another. So you
mhm.
don't have to buy everything today. Keep your
Right.
eyes on the prices of rice, the prices of grains, the prices on nuts and seeds. They're a little more pricier than they have been because I'm a price checker. I do. I really do. And because I get the question regularly about how can I, become healthy when things are more expensive than I can even afford. You don't have to buy everything at once. And if you
Mm,
buy in bulk, you'll have some left over. If you have a family of six, then you can buy a sack of potatoes. If you know where to go, and I know where to go, I know the black farmers, I know the people who will allow you to buy a sack of potatoes for $5, for
mm,
$7. A sack of potatoes is 5 pounds, 10 pounds.
mhm,
So don't be afraid to get a healthy mindset, and then on the backdrop, I don't have the money. We
mhm.
have the money, like brother Johnny B said, we'll spend the money on what we want.
One, yeah.
Yeah,
We,
we will, we
we
will.
will, and we don't want to take the mindset that, hey, it's just today, I'll start tomorrow,
That's
because
right.
that tomorrow really never comes.
That's right.
and
That's
and, and
right.
we get stuck in a whole routine of, dad, I'm going to start on the new year, or I'm going to start this time. And we make these dates that don't even exist
Right.
really. And once we start going through it, and the next thing you know, we say, oh man, what it is. But folks, you see Miss Calloway's number coming across the screen, 302-834-3695. Give her
Yes.
a call, send her a message, leave a voicemail at www.lifeisdelicious.life
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
that as well, or check us out. You know, we and we're going to get to this event with that we having on September 20th. But a couple more folks asked a couple of questions. What is the downsides of a plant-based diet? Am I missing out on something going plant-based, or how do I check? I might eat a lot, Miss Diane, and I'm like, will I be full on this plant-based diet? What's your thoughts on that?
um, first off, think about, I want to be healthy. That's the legacy that I want to leave to my family. That,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the material things are cool.
Mm-hmm.
But when you begin to lay a foundation and understand, like Johnny B said, health is wealth, and begin to want to become healthy at any cost,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not an issue. You will begin to adapt the lifestyle of a
Mm-hmm.
whole food plant-based diet. If you eat the right grains, like just if you eat oatmeal, if you eat a bowl of oatmeal in the morning at 9 o'clock, you will not be hungry until close to 3 o'clock. I don't care how much you eat,
Mm-hmm.
because there are foods in the whole food plant-based diet that will absolutely keep you full until the next meal comes around, and you still might not be full then. I understand people need more calories. You know, somebody that's 6 foot tall and, you know, maybe 200 pounds, which is not a lot of weight for somebody 6 feet tall, may need more calories than me. But at the same time, it's about balance. Eat the whole foods, eat the plants, eat, you know, eat the nuts and seeds, eat the whole grains, and do that consistently. You can eat that all throughout the day. You can eat much as you want and not gain a pound of
Mm-hmm.
whole foods.
Mm-hmm. And
So go ahead, go.
well, tell us this, what happens to your body yeah, when you start going through this plant-based diet? Do you know some things that you might know transforming? Will I start getting headaches, or, how would I start feel? Will my body start having a reaction to
Well, you
it?
know, everybody's body is different.
Mm-hmm.
And your expectations should be about change. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Something's going to change. But the greatest change is going to be, you're going to begin to shed a few pounds. If you don't want to do that, then you eat more whole food, plant-based things. Let more of them come into your life, and you can eat all day long.
Mm-hmm.
You can. I don't know anybody that has said that they got headaches. I have people that say, I'll never stop eating meat, or I'll never stop eating cheese. And I say, okay, all right, I get it. It's not about if, it's just when you're going to need me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're going to go for it today, but
Yeah.
I'm always going to be here for you. But
Yeah.
I don't know anybody, Johnny, to be honest, that had an adverse reaction to going in this direction other than the weight loss factor.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
don't want to lose that weight. And what I tell them is eat more of what you're eating. Maybe about a quarter cup of nuts. I forgot the amount of calories. There may be 200 calories. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It's not like a half a slab of beef. That's going to give you a headache. You know what I mean? It may not have happened yet, but
Mm-hmm.
if you really think about our food system and the direction that it's going, it's not going to get better.
Right.
It's going to get progressively worse.
First.
The
Right.
processed foods are going to be continue to come at you. That you know, high sodium, high saturated fat, off the wall with sugar. That's not going to stop. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
always be there, and it's going to get more and more aggressive. So you're going to have to make some decisions about which way you want to go. If you want to become healthy, I would suggest trying a whole food plant-based diet. I would
Mm,
suggest it strongly. If you're considering, if you're on medication and you want to get off, doctors are not going. No money is in being healthy. Money is not made in being healthy. Money is made with pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical industry, with medications. Those pockets are being padded heavily. Medical devices, those pockets are being padded heavily. Not eating
mm,
healthy. Doctors can't make money off of us when we're healthy.
right.
They can't. They can't make the money that they would normally make. They make it on writing prescriptions. And a lot of times we put too much confidence in our physicians. You know
Mm,
what I mean? I feel like that. We and researchers, we
mhm,
put all of our confidence. We're not being fair. We should be in control of our own body. God promised to us that we will walk in divine health. Are you
mm,
walking it out?
right.
We need to walk it out. And that's our responsibility. It's not up to our PCP. It's not up to our primary care physician. It's not up to the CDC. And wow,
Right.
it's not up to them. They can give us the information that we need, but in order for us to be control of our own health, we have to
Mhm,
make some changes. We're going to have to
mhm,
do it.
mhm. And it's next question said, what would you communicate to parents that are feeding their children wrong foods because certain foods are cheaper and accessible and they're affordable? I mean, like fried foods, junk foods. I mean, what conversation do we start to have with them on that?
I think that I think once the education piece kicks in, and you don't have to know everything about a whole food plant-based diet, but some
Mhm,
of the things that you do really need to know is what are the processed products that and the fast food, what are those kind of foods doing to my kids? What is when I talk about process, I'm talking about frozen pancakes, frozen waffles, frozen meats. Those things are heavily laden with salt, and they will put weight on you, and they will make you sick eventually. And when
mhm,
you give them to young children, you're starting them out. And I understand not being able to afford X, Y, and Z, but I would suggest strongly to minimize your purchasing. If you give your child whole foods, more fruits, more vegetables, more grains. If you give your child that, a little more of that each week or each month, they're going to adjust and adapt to what it is that you're giving them. And you don't have to be a chef to do it.
right,
You don't
right.
have to be a chef to do it. Just make something in that kitchen happen.
Mhm,
And I'm thinking about doing some more because I used to do cooking demonstrations because people always ask me about that. I'm
mhm,
thinking about just doing some demonstrations just with the prepping piece, just the bare bones. You don't have to go out and buy a whole lot of new equipment, a Vitamix and
mhm,
all of that. Just do the bare bones that your grandmother had, that you
mhm,
got as a that you received as your inheritance. Some
mhm,
things from your grandma, the potato masher. You don't have to have a KitchenAid. Just do the basic stuff, and
mhm.
you'll get there. And you'll train your kids, and then it'll be generational for you. But we have to lay the groundwork. We have work to do because we're on purpose and intentionally. Our food system has taken a left turn on purpose when they know that it should have been a right turn.
Right.
And we are reaping all the negative benefits as a result of that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. And somebody asked, and we know you're not a doctor, can
Right.
cancer live in a non-acidic body? I mean, what is your thought on that?
I
Of
Go ahead.
of thinking, can that still be vibrant? We know that in our bodies that when we have these dead flesh and stuff and the meats, that gives us that makes spreading of
Mm-hmm,
the cancer and
mm-hmm,
everything
mm-hmm,
like that.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
we only learned that when I watched Forks Over Knives. They
mm-hmm,
were those gentlemen was talking about that from Cornell University.
mm-hmm.
For it. What is your thought on that?
I think I think that cancer can grow anywhere that is permitted. And what I mean by that, if we begin to look and understand what our internal pharmacy is really about our immune system, about how to protect it. And when you're eating the right foods, the cells in our body are protected by that beta carotene, by
Mhm.
those berries. It has its protection. That's why fruits and vegetables are so important, because without them, all of the pathogens and the antigens and the parasites and the bacteria and the viruses, all of those things have full reign in your immune system. You cannot have a strong immune system eating trashy, eating messy.
Mhm.
They don't work together. So when
Mhm.
you eat right, you have a better chance of keeping cancer, particularly at bay. Some foods keep away free radicals, like the
Mhm.
meats,
Mhm.
and cancer can grow. But there are foods that turn on cancer, and there are foods that turn off cancer. So we
Mhm.
have to be more diligent about what we take in and what we keep out. It doesn't happen overnight. We will
Mhm.
support you, our community. That's what we do. That's what we do when we go to the inner city, because they're the inner city, the at-risk population are the most vulnerable to disease. They're on more medication than ever known in the history of mankind. So
Mhm.
we really target, they're our captive audience, just teaching and training and supporting them with what to do next. We don't try to thrust it and throw it at them all at once. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. We have to take them by the hand most of the time. And then we have a program that um, after our programs are all done and over with, we still have a follow up. They're still permitted to call to the office
Mhm.
and ask questions for 15 or 20 minutes or whatever. But don't give cancer the benefit of
Right.
coming in.
And
Keep it at bay. And more fruits and vegetables. That whole food, plant based lifestyle is going to be your ticket to better health. To better health. If you have, because at our church, we have a lot of people that have been diagnosed with cancer, and they bring their medicine to church and they say, I'm not going to take the medicine at all, which is fine and good. To each his own with that. But this person I was connected to, she began to juice. I said, it's time to kick all of that other stuff to the curb and you juice, because you're not going to get from some fruits and vegetables, you're not going to get as much from them as if you were to juice them. And then some whole fruits and vegetables, you will get every single thing that you need out of them. But cancer has grown exponentially because we've allowed it, because we are not overseers of our health and what we eat, what we put in our temple. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I
Mhm.
tell you, yeah,
It's amazing. And somebody made the comment, a lot of people ask why is food so expensive? They should be asking themselves why is food so cheap? And when they ask themselves those questions and research those really cheap foods, they find out why it's not food at all anyway
it's
that they're
not.
eating.
It's not.
It's totally junk, as you said.
It
And
is.
um, we're gonna touch on one more thing before we get to this veg
Okay.
fest
Go ahead.
and stuff. And we want to touch on the organic versus non-organic foods and cleaning fruits and vegetables to remove pesticides and
Mhm.
potential downsides to making sure that we do those things.
Yeah. Well, whether or not a fruit is the conventional kind or whether it's organic, they both need to be washed, even the organic. They don't have to be washed as much as a conventional, fruits and vegetables and stuff, but they still need to be washed. Um, just a good rinse, just a good rinse. You don't have to go out and buy the products specifically for cleaning vegetables. You can use salt and water. You can use a gallon of water and maybe about a quarter, yeah, maybe about 3 or 4 tablespoons of salt. That's the
Mhm.
least expensive way. Put your fruits and stuff, your apples, just use apples in a container. Put about 3 or 4 tablespoons of salt in there and let it sit. Every now and then, just kind of turn it. You will begin to see on the top the film that's going to come from the skin. Now,
Wow.
I don't know. how much of Roundup or any of those pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides can get into the flesh. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know from the outside, and we need the outside of most of the fruits, like apples in particular, because again, it has the fiber. But if you don't want to use salt, salt is the least expensive and it can do the job.
Mm-hmm.
You can use baking soda and a cap full of vinegar. You can put those combinations together in your water, about a quart of water. You can do that, like with your greens or your Brussels sprouts or your kale or any of that. I put mine and I leave it in there for maybe about 15 or 20 minutes. And I can see you have to rinse it really, really good, because when you're dealing with that vinegar, you don't want a vinegary taste with kale nor any of your greens. So, and you can use that with fruits also. So those are two ways that I personally clean, and you will see the film on top of whatever it is that you're trying to clean. You know, I didn't know Roundup was still legal to be used.
Really?
It's known to make people sick. It's known to cause disease and known to cause cancer. I didn't even know it was still legal. I just found out it was still legal here most recently. I heard somebody talking about it. But
Wow.
what was the other part of that question about cleaning them and what else? Oh, organic and versus
Versus
conventional. Yeah.
non-organic.
Again, you still need to wash, rinse off, not necessarily with vinegar and baking soda and all of that. You still need to clean the organic. You still need to rinse it off. With the non-organic, you better wash it, because yeah, you better wash that. You know, I want you to eat more, but I want you to learn how to clean it also. And don't be afraid to let it sit for a while. That, you know, don't be afraid to let apples sit for 30 minutes. Apples is probably my favorite fruit, my most favorite fruit. I let it sit for sometime an hour. When I bring them home, I immediately wash them. I don't put them in my refrigerator. Don't let it contaminate in the lemon drawer. You know what I mean? Because it'll just cross pollinate. You don't want to do that. As soon as you bring it home, if you're able to, just get that basin out, put that water in there, put a little bit of salt, or how much of a salt you want. Salt is cheap. Now Morton's is about 99 cents. It used to be 35 cents, but now
Mm-hmm.
it's a little more expensive. You know, don't mind spending that for
Right.
to clean it with, but you need to clean organic vegetables also, and fruit. You need to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. They're a little more expensive, a little bit more expensive, but your health is worth it. You're worth
Yes.
it. It's not going to be $20 more, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but your health is worth it. And if you put your health first and think about, look, I want more energy. I want to be more thriving. I just want to be more of a blessing, you know, be able to do more things with my children. You will put all of that other negativity aside and say, look, I'm going to do this because I
Mm-hmm.
have to. I don't want to, but I have to, because my family depends on it. My community depends on it. You know, if I want to leave a legacy, I can leave the diamonds and the pearls and all of that, but you
Mm-hmm.
leave a legacy of good health. Now you're on to something, because it'll live forever. It'll live
Right.
forever. It'll live on forever.
Yeah. So our big event coming up. I'm excited. September 20th, folks. Do not miss the opportunity. September 20th. You heard it right here. You're getting it. You're gonna get it in person. Glasgow Park. I'm gonna let Miss Diane explain to it, but it's the Veg Fest where she's gonna be out there. We're gonna set up. We're gonna have all this information for y'all out here in the community. She's gonna have some great vendors. You know, it's gonna be a time you can do some walking around, exercising. But Miss Diane, I ain't gonna steal a show. I'm gonna let you go and
Nah,
tell.
nah, nah. You nailing it, brother. You nailing it, Johnny B. I'm going to be real quick about why I feel as though people should come to the Delaware Veg Fest. The Delaware Veg Fest is more than a festival or a fair or any of that. It's a celebration of health, community, and fun. The combination of all of those three together. And regardless of what lifestyle you have, whether you're omnivore, whether you're vegan, whether you're vegetarian, or just curious, every lifestyle will be able to benefit. The festival is at Glasgow Park. The actual physical address is 2275 Pulaski Highway. It's right there at the corner of Pulaski Highway and 896. And the time is 12 p to 6 p.m. It'll be family friendly. You don't have to worry and be concerned about if somebody going to come in there acting crazy. Police will be all over the place. and we'll have live jazz music. We'll have a live DJ. Our DJ is off the hook. He brings the party right to where you are. We're going to have a symposium this year, which will be our first time ever in Delaware, the Disease Reversal Symposium. Our dream team is coming to Glasgow Park for 2 hours. They're going to talk about reversing disease, how to do it. There are going to be testimonials from their group, from their practices that are telling you about their journey, what they did, how it affected them, where they are today versus where they were 5 years ago, 6 months ago, or whatever. So you'll have the chance to hear all about that. They're a powerhouse. They're going to come and bring it. And then we're going to have Let's Be Breast Cancer Rally for cancer awareness. We're going to talk about cancer. It's only about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to have drum lines from Philadelphia, from our local high schools here in Newcastle County, from down in Dover as well, Kent County. It's going to be on and popping. It's a festival to uplift our experience about plant-based living. We're going to be educated. You're going to leave just feeling good. You're going to want to start tomorrow. Then you'll make the phone call to me the day after. And I'm going to support you. Our team is going to support you from the beginning to the end. And then you're going to be on Johnnie B's show talking about when Diane, Life is Delicious, was on Johnnie B's show. And this is how it happened to me. Okay.
And that's so September 20th, folks. And what time does that start, Miss Diane?
It starts at 12 noon.
12 noon.
12 noon. Bring your Zumba gear. We're going to be Zumbing down. We're going to do cooking demonstrations. We're going to do physical fitness. Bring your gear so you can hang out with us. Okay. Come and support us. If you're not able to come, just hold us up in your prayer. How's that?
That's excellent. That's going to be great. But folks, if you're out there, wheelchair walker, whatever it is, come out, get some good vitamin D. We're hoping for a good day there with that sunlight. But it gives you a chance to learn something new. It gives you a chance to understand how to transform your body and to get back into a more subtle lifestyle of just being more healthy for it and stuff. And when we're doing it, it's just a change. It's a change that we want to see. We see a lot of friends and family passing away from this, but we want to build this legacy. We want to be able to run our businesses. We want to be able to be out there and set this legacy up over and over again. So September 20th, please do not hesitate to come out. Just visit, stop by, see Miss Diane, say, hey, I seen the show. I'm trying to figure out, this is what I'm going through. And folks, believe me, I know everybody's situation is different. Some are more personal than others but you'll get to be able to have that personal conversation with Miss Diane and talk about it and say, hey, this is what I'm going through, this is where I'm falling short. This is where my significant other might think that, I need to do better at. It can be exercises. It can be eating. It can just be understanding how your body functions for it. So come out, understand this, because health is wealth.
It is.
We need to change the whole script of what's going on right now and start looking at what's happening to us. Everything's getting expensive. Somebody say, food is getting expensive. That is the honest to goodness truth. It's getting very expensive.
It is.
But guess what? To live is even expensive.
That's right.
More than stuff. If now get it, and we all have to transition at some point in time, but we don't want to do it sooner than we have to.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
When we transition, it's expensive. So the question is, how are we going to leave our legacy if we're not doing the things that we need to change?
That's right. What are we going to leave here? That's exactly right. The name of that film told you that I bought the rights to is They Are Trying to Kill Us. They're trying to kill us.
Wow.
So if anybody ever wants to see that, I can put it back out there. And if you call the office, I can tell you where it's going to be showing. It's free. It's free information. It's free information. And somebody said the food is expensive. It's going to get more expensive. You haven't seen the end of that. It's going to get more expensive. So if that's a concern, you better come on the plant-based side. Yeah. Yeah. It's going
And
to be
get
cheaper
right.
for you. Yeah.
Cheaper,
Yeah.
more informative for you folks. I'm so excited that we're gonna have this on September 20th because I look at my life and I tell people I went through a stage where I was getting worried of how am I gonna transform my legacy if I'm not healthy.
Yeah.
And I had to come to the point where, hey, you got to start doing certain things to build that up. You got to start changing some things. Do I still eat bad sometimes? Absolutely. But
Sure.
I do not make it a habit to do
Right.
it every day. And I
Sure.
try to make an honest decision to change. Like I'm starting to think about, hey, when I'm driving, just having my nuts in the car,
That's right.
nuts are something that I can take with me
That's
until I
right.
can get back home, so I won't be so eager to make that turn and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But folks, I'm gonna let y'all know that we got to bring Miss Diane back because we're gonna talk about and I'm gonna surprise y'all and set this up because we're gonna talk about the 10 worst restaurants. Miss Diane didn't even share that with you. For that we go through all the time the drive and sometimes we thought they were better than the other ones. So we got to come back. We got to bring that to you
Okay.
so you can start getting ready and for the new year after Thanksgiving, because I don't want to ruin nobody's Thanksgiving or nothing. I'm not trying to be the Grinch around here or anything, but I want folks to know because when I seen them and Miss Diane told me, I was like, yo, this right around the corner from me. And yo, this was my go-to
Yep.
spot.
Yep. I hear
But
you.
guess
I
what?
hear you.
I have to go and I have to say, nah,
We're gonna
that's
talk
not
about
for
it.
me.
We're gonna talk
That's
about it.
not for me. And we're going to talk about that for and stuff. Miss Diane, if you have some closing comments for us, I'm so excited.
I am so grateful, really, that you would even have me on your show. I'm really grateful and thankful that you thought enough of what I do important enough for your audience. That is a blessing to me. And I hope that when we get back together again, we can dig just a little bit deeper and talk a little bit more. And I can just share. I don't know everything, but what little bit I do know, I'm so willing to give it and so willing to support those who need it. So I thank you, Johnny B, for everything. We will talk soon. And God bless all of the listeners tonight. Okay.
Yes. And this Creative Finance with JB, y'all got your health and wealth tip for the week going into the next week. September 20th is the day that we want you to come out and be able to support this thing. And we're going to keep reminding you of these things coming up because it is so important that we change the lifestyle that we're used to and
Absolutely.
get ready for the legacy we're going to leave behind.
Amen.
Folks, until next
Amen.
Tuesday, thank y'all again for attending and we'll see you again. Y'all have a good night.
God bless. Bye bye. Thank you.